Hello dear students, as you all know, we are doing chapter number 3. In the last lecture we studied about Wheatstone bridge and meter bridge. Okay. Today we will study a very important topic as far as your again examination is concerned. Let me tell you out of Wheatstone bridge and potentiometer. Okay, potentiometer is also a very important topic because it is application based topic. Wheatstone bridge is also a very important topic. In physics actually you need to see that as far as CBSE is concerned, CBSE most concentrate about the application of the theory what you have studied. So whatever there is the application of any of the law or any of the principle, you need to understand that, because as far as your board examination it is very important, and as far as your higher educations are concerned, then also these topics are very important. In physics you need to understand two things for your board examination: all the laws what we have studied. Like let us start from the electrostatics. The first law we have studied is Coulomb's law. Then after we have studied Gauss law. Okay, these two laws are there in the electrostatics. Then after we have studied in the chapter number 3, one we have studied Ohm's law. Okay, and later on we will study so many laws. Like in ray optics we have studied laws of reflection, laws of refraction, lens maker's formula. So these are the standard result into standard formulas, and they are very important as far as the board examinations are concerned. So today also we are going to study a very important topic, and that topic is potentiometer. Potentiometer. What is a potentiometer? What is a potentiometer? Simply, potentiometer is a device. It is a device. It is a device which is used to measure potential difference between two points in a given circuit, or EMF of primary cells. Okay, potentiometer is a device, as from the name also, potential is for potential and meter is for the measurement. So basically potentiometer is a device which is used to measure what? Potential difference between 2 points of a given circuit, or EMF of a primary cell. What is EMF? We have studied earlier. What is a primary cell? Primary cells are those which can be recharged. Okay, which can be recharged and used. That the battery, actually not cell, the battery, which is combination of cell, which is being used in our inverters. Okay, which is used in our inverters. Those are called primary cells because they can be recharged to reuse. Right. So what is the EMF of that primary cell? Or what is the potential difference between 2 points of a given circuit? We can use by the potentiometer. For studying potentiometer, a very important topic is there, and that is your potential gradient. Okay, potential gradient. Earlier we have studied this in chapter number 2. If you remember the formula, that dV is equal to minus E vector dot dr vector, and if E and dr are same direction, then E can be written as dV upon dr. So this dV upon dr is called potential gradient. Okay, is called potential gradient, change of potential with respect to distance. But here we are studying it in a different manner. It was for the space. Okay, potential difference between 2 points, distance between those two. But here we are studying between potential gradient, potential difference we are going to take between 2 points in a given wire. Okay, or 2 points in the circuit. Suppose we have a resistance. Okay, we have a resistance this much long. I have made it long so that you can understand. Let this be a potential V, let this current be I. Okay, the length of this resistance, let this be L. Okay, the length of this resistance, let this be L. What we know? We know that V is equal to IR. V is equal to IR. R can be written as rho L by A. Rho is a specific resistance, A is area. If I take I, rho and A together, then I, rho and A, if they are together, so we can write V is equal to I rho upon A into L. Now just try to understand. Let this be complete L. Total L, so let this be L. Okay. Now suppose I have taken a potential voltmeter, say. Okay. And voltmeter is connected over here. If this is of 10 volt, if it is connected over here, then it will read 10 volt. Because we are taking the voltage across over the length of the resistance. But suppose this voltmeter is disconnected from here, okay, is disconnected from here, and now it is being connected over here, and this length is L. This length is L. You need to understand that if this cell is of 10 volt, so at this point, if you take potential as 10 volt, then at this point, the potential is 0 volt. Then only the potential difference is going to be 10 volt. So basically, potential difference, this potential start decreasing over the length of the wire, over the length of the resistance. If this you have taken 10 volt, at this you are going to take 10 volt, then at this you are going to take 0. At this you are going to take 5 volt, at this you are going to take minus 5. At this you are going to take 20 volt, at this you are going to take 10 volt. You need to maintain that potential difference 10 volt. So basically what happens, this potential is decreasing over the length of the wire. And this potential is actually the proportional of length of the wire. So L is the total length, capital L is the total length. If for a smaller length, we should write V is equal to I rho by A into small l, or we can write V is proportional to L. V is proportional to L, that is potential drop across the length of a resistance or a wire. Here the wire will have resistance, it is not a connecting wire. Like this wire, we have not assumed it is having resistance. Okay? From this what we can say? We can say that the potential drop across the length of the wire, is directly proportional to that length. That is, V is proportional to L, or V is equal to KL, or K is equal to V upon L. Now what is that V? V is the potential drop across the length. L is the length, change in potential upon length. So this is called, K is called potential gradient. Potential gradient. How it is different from this? It was for the space, but nearby the charge we have taken 2 points, and between those 2 points we were taking potential difference. And it is for the points in the resistance. Okay, across the length of the wire we are taking point. Okay, so K is called potential gradient. The basic meaning is still same. It was also change in potential over the length, over the distance. It is also change in potential over the length of the wire. Basic meaning same, but context is different. There it was in space, here it is in wire. Okay, so this potential gradient you need to understand, because this potentiometer is based on that only, concept of potential gradient. Okay, now how that is based, let us see. Okay, let us understand the working of a potentiometer. It is based on potential gradient, that we have understood. This was the first concept we need to understand for understanding this potentiometer. Now the second concept. Suppose we have a cell over here, its EMF is even, internal resistance is negligible, one resistance is over there. Okay, one Another cell is also here. This cell is of E2. Okay. One resistance is there in the circuit. One key is also there and key is being on. So there are three cases basically for the direction of current. If E1 is greater than E2, then what will happen? What will be the direction of current in the circuit? Suppose we have attached a galvanometer also here. Okay, we have attached a galvanometer also here. Now suppose E1 is greater than E2. So obviously, if E1 is greater than E2, E1 will dominate E2 and the direction of current will be according to E1. The direction of current will be in this way. This way is what? Anti-clockwise. The direction of current will be anti-clockwise. I will be anti-clockwise because E1 is greater than E2, the current will be flowing according to the E1, right? Suppose in that case the galvanometer deflects this side, okay, anti-clockwise. If current is going anti-clockwise, the galvanometer 0 is straight, okay, straight here. For clockwise, it deflects this side. For anti-clockwise, it deflects this side. So now the current is anti-clockwise, suppose it is deflecting anti-clock, right? The second case is, if E1 is smaller than E2, E2 is greater now, the current will be flowing in this manner. Okay, if the current is flowing in this manner, then I will be clockwise. So suppose that galvanometer deflects clockwise. Okay, but if E1 is equal to E2, then if E1 is equal to E2, then there will be no current in the circuit and the galvanometer does not deflect. Galvanometer does not deflect, no deflection is there. In this case, I is equal to 0, no deflection. No deflection. This is our case. This is the case which is used in potentiometer. How? Let us draw the diagram of potentiometer. How it has been given to you in the lab. So in the potentiometer, it is on a wooden plank. Okay. Can I? I'll make this that side if it is needed. A wooden plank is there. Okay, a wooden plank is there, and on that wooden plank there are 1 meter wires, and wires are connected here between two terminals. Say one terminal is capital A, another terminal is capital B. So between these two terminals, wires are connected, but wires are connected like this. Okay, from here a copper strip is there. So that copper strip connects this wire to this wire. Here we have a copper strip. So this two are connected. Here we have a copper strip. So these two are connected. This point is your B. So on a wooden plank, you have been given such a structure and you are told that this is the potentiometer. How that potentiometer works, let us understand. How that potentiometer works, let us understand. To A, this point is your A, we connect a cell, and this is your standard cell of say EMF E. We connect an ammeter to find the value of current. We connect a switch, okay, key, okay. Let us make the key over here only. This is your key, and we connect a rheostat. This is the driving circuit of potentiometer. it drives the potentiometer. Okay. Now this side, as I have told you, that potentiometer is being used for knowing unknown EMFs of a cell. So the cell of which we need to calculate the. So this is called driving circuit of EMF. Now the cell of which we had to know the EMF, it is connected over here. Suppose this cell is of EMF, E1. Okay. We connect a resistance box. It is optional, but we connect it. And why we connect? So because we need to connect a galvanometer over here. Okay. And galvanometer cannot bear a very large value of current. That is why we connect a galvanometer. I have made a key over here. Cable. With this galvanometer, one jockey is attached. Okay. Acha, I forgot to tell you, this length of the wire is 1 meter. 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter. So basically this is 4 meter potentiometer. There are 10 meter potentiometer also. Okay, in our lab we have 10 meter potentiometer. Okay. Now what happens? This key is on, this key is on. Okay. And one resistance is taken out from it. Now just see what happens. If this jockey is connected over here, suppose the potential across this length of the resistance, this length of the wire, because of this, suppose AJ, voltage across AJ is less than E1, then what will happen of this circuit? Suppose this jockey is not connected over here, it is connected over here. So what will happen to this circuit where the current will be flowing? E1 is greater and this voltage across AJ is small. So E1 will dominate AJ. E1 will dominate VAJ. So what will happen? Current will be flowing in this one. So this is what? Anti-clockwise. This is what? Anti-clockwise. Now in place of E2, I have VAJ. In place of E2, I have VAJ. So if it is here, say J1. J1. If it is here, then E1 is greater, current will be going anti-clockwise, galvanometer will have deflection. Now if it is connected in this way, somewhere here, now the length of the wire we have to take this. The length increases and voltage drop across the length of the wire is directly proportional to the length itself. Okay, so now what happens? VAJ will be greater. VAJ will be greater, say J2. This is your J2. Current will be clockwise in this circuit. Okay, current will be clockwise and deflection in the galvanometer will be reversed in clockwise. But suppose at some point at J, that VAJ, voltage across this length of the wire, is equal to voltage of E1. Then what will happen? There will be no deflection. So this very length will be up from A to this, it is 1 meter. From this to this, suppose this is L. So 1 meter plus L, 1 plus L length. I am taking AJ as L. From A to J it is L. So what is the value of E1? E1 will be equal to K. K is potential drop into L. If this L is calculated by sliding the jockey on the potentiometer wire, then we can calculate the unknown EMF. This is how a potentiometer works. Okay. So this is the potentiometer, working of potentiometer. Now there are two applications. One is to compare the EMFs of two primary cells. Another is to know to calculate the internal resistance of a potentiometer. So let us do those applications also. Okay. Now let us understand application of potentiometer. Application of potentiometer. Numericals, these applications are asked in the board examination as it is. Okay. The first application is to compare EMF of two primary cells. To compare EMFs of two primary cells. What is the circuit required for that? Let us try to understand. If this is the potentiometer, okay, as I have told earlier also, and it is straight. This is a potentiometer and a wire is connected in the potentiometer like this. Let this potentiometer is of 4-meter wire. Already I have told you. Here we are going to have a copper strip. Here we are going to have a copper strip. And here we are going to have a copper strip. Okay, let this point be capital A and this point be capital B. Okay, this is the potentiometer. One scale is fitted over here to measure the length. Right? Now the first thing we do, we connect our driving circuit and a standard cell of EMF E is connected. Then a key. Okay, say this key is K, then on a meter, and then the rheostat. The B is connected to the rheostat. So this is the circuit which drives the potentiometer. Now the cells whose EMFs is to be considered, one cell is connected over here. Say it is of EMF E1, one cell is connected over here. Say this its EMF is E2. Now they both are connected to keys, say K1 and K2. Okay. Here we connect a resistance box. It is optional. It can be connected while doing practical. And it can be skipped also. This resistance box is only for the protection of galvanometer. As I have told earlier also, galvanometer cannot bear a large value of current. Then we connect a galvanometer through it, and then we connect a jockey, say J. Okay. So this circuit works as we have discussed earlier also. What we are going to do? How we are going to solve this? When K1 is on and K2 is off. When K1 is on and K2 is off. This key is on, this key is off. So basically in this circuit only this cell is connected. Then at null point, E1 will be equal to what? KL1, where K is your potential gradient that we have discussed. And when K1 is off and K2 is on, then at null point, now E2 will be connected in the circuit. If this key is on, this key is off, so this cell will be disconnected, only this cell will be connected. E2 is equal to KL2. Let this equation be 1, let this equation be 2. Divide equation 1 and 2. E1 upon E2 will be equal to L1 upon L2. So by this, what we can do, we can compare the EMF, we can calculate the ratio of the EMFs of two cells, right? So this is how the circuit works. The working of circuit I have already told you. At null point, the galvanometer shows no deflection. At that very point, suppose this is at this point, then what will happen? The potential difference across this length of the wire is equal to potential difference across the terminals of the cell, and that's why there is no current in this branch and galvanometer shows zero deflection. That we have discussed few moments before. So this is its first application is to compare the EMFs of two primary cell. Okay, in this manner you have to connect circuit and this formula you have to use. Now let us come to the second application. The second application is now let us move to the second application. The second application is to determine the internal resistance of a primary cell. Okay, I'm not removing the circuit because it is required over here. Only this phase of the circuit will be changed and other everything will be same. Okay, now how the circuit is connected? Suppose the EMF of a cell has to be known. It is this cell. Okay, this cell is of EMF E and internal resistance R. E already we have used, let it be E1. Okay, in parallel to that cell we use a resistance box and then we use a key, and then the whole circuit will remain same. Right? This is the change in the circuit for the second application. Now how this circuit is being used, let us see. Now we say that if let this key be K1, K1 is off. Basically this resistance box is not connected, only this cell is connected. Then at null point, E1 will be equal to say KL1, equation number 1. Now if the K1 is on and a resistance R is applied, then at null point, now just try to understand. When this K is off, I am talking about the first condition. So the potential difference across the terminal of the cell is equal to the potential difference across the length of the wire. So basically in that no current was flowing in the case when the galvanometer shows no deflection. When no current is being drawn from the cell, the terminal potential difference is equal to EMF, and that's why I have written E1 is equal to KL1. But when this resistance box is applied, this key is on, then what will happen? Now just try to understand then. From the cell a current will be flowing. The current should divide at this junction. Let this point be X, and some current will go towards this side, some current will go towards this side. This current. At this junction the current will be divided, some currents will be in that, some current over here. But here we have already taken a current, so current will be passing like this. Let this point be Y. Now what I am going to tell, please listen to carefully. When the potential difference between X and Y, is equal to the potential difference between A and J, for a particular length, say L2. When the potential difference between x and y is equal to the potential difference between A and J for some length, say L2, then there will be no division of current at this junction. All the current which is flowing from the cell will go towards the resistance box, and here also the current will not be divided at this junction. All the current will be going upward because this potential difference is equal to this potential difference. So basically there is no potential difference between x and A, and there is no potential difference between y and j, and therefore there is no current through the galvanometer and there is no current through the XA, right? But in this case there is a current drawn from the cell, and that's why in this case we are not going to measure EMF, we are going to measure terminal potential difference, which is given by V is equal to KL2. This will be equation number 2. Now EMF is known, V is known. What we need to find out? Internal resistance. How can we? Let us see. So let us divide the equation 2 by equation 1. What we are going to have? We are going to have 1 divided by 2. Okay, 1 divided by 2. We are going to have E1 upon V is equal to L1 upon L2. Now E1 can be written as current multiplied by resistance plus internal resistance, and V can be written as current multiplied by resistance is equal to L1 upon L2. Now this current will be cancelled out. What we need to find out? We need to find out small r. So r is transferred that side. We are going to have capital R plus small r is equal to L1 upon L2 into capital R. Now this capital R is transferred over that side. We are going to have small r is equal to L1 upon L2 minus 1 into capital R. So this is the value of internal resistance in terms of length, and it's the resistance we have applied from this resistance box. Okay, here we have applied a resistance R, not from here. From here we take out the resistance, say 100 ohm, and we let it be like this only. Okay, this is only there to protect galvanometer from high current. Okay, so this is all about second application of potentiometer. Now there are some definitions. Only one definition, that is a sensitivity of potentiometer, and that we have done already in meter gauge also. Sensitivity of meter gauge. When we say this potentiometer will be sensitive, we say when this galvanometer shows a large deflection for a small variation in voltage. In that case, we say that potentiometer is sensitive. Okay, so this is all about potentiometer. Okay, now this chapter is over theoretically. Numerically, I'll take one more lecture. Okay, we'll solve some selected NCERT questions, and you are free to send me your doubts. Right? You are free to send me your doubts. So this is all for the day. Thank you.